just don't know. I haven't been able to figure that out unless he's implying that 2/3 of all registered voters just didn't vote yesterday, and that only 1/3 of the country did vote. And you know what, man? It's a midterm election. That could very well be. All I can say to that is, now you know how we felt about them 7 million registered Republicans that failed to vote in the 2012 election that got your behind stuck in the Oval Office. How's that feel? That's about all I can say to his 2/3 comment. But to say, I hear you too, what? What are you hearing? They didn't vote. Are you hearing that you disgusted them so much that they didn't even want to go to the polls?
Somehow, I don't think he heard that part.
Well, there's a lot of blame being thrown around. This election is being blamed on women, and it's being blamed on minorities for, not enough of them got out and voted.
Well, not enough of them got out and voted Democrat.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
There you go. And, there's a lot of guessing about, what's next. What are the Republicans going to do now that they've gotten into office? Everybody is convinced that the first thing that the Republicans are going to do, this new Congress, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to try to repeal Obamacare. And I'm going to say now, my prediction is no. No, I don't think that's what they're going to do. Mainly because I have a sneaky feeling that the Senate is going to vote Mitch McConnell as the majority leader there in the Senate. And Mitch has had plenty of opportunities to go along with other senators who tried to take steps to, defund it or try to get it, repealed or rolled back several times over the past couple of years, and it's not happening. Mitch has never jumped on the let's get rid of Obama bandwagon, except in word only.
Right. When it came time for him to actually support senators who were trying to do something about it, he had to go to the bathroom. He
got a case of the jellyfish backbone. I do think, though, I do see one of the first things that the Republicans will do is try to get the Keystone Pipeline opened up.
Every single one of them that has made it on television, that has been interviewed, it's one of the first things they all mention. And I think it's because they know that is one place they can get the president to bend his stiff neck.
Yeah.
Is to get that pipeline approved. And
I would like to see him roll back some of these carbon emission regulations that the president has laid out that is essentially choking out the coal industry, because let's face it, man, a lot of these guys come from coal-producing states. A lot of these newly elected people come from coal-producing states. Mitch McConnell represents a coal-producing state.
So maybe we might see a little bit of regulatory.
Yeah.
Now
I think they're going to try to piecemeal some things about Obamacare, like the mandate. The absolute necessity that every American be medically insured or face penalties. I think they may try to get that part rolled back. I think they may try to work on something for the small businesses, particularly the ones that employ 50 and under, that just flat out, or 50 and over, rather, that's got over 50 employees that just, they cannot afford to insure, a 120, 130 employees.
Because that cheap insurance ain't cheap.
It's not
cheap.
Not
the way they set it up.
And, we said...
Do you think there's... Now, this is another thing that has been mentioned by every single one of the Tea Party Republican candidates that got elected. They've all said those two dirty little words that make other people in Washington cringe. It's a tax reform.
I
don't think that's going to happen fast, but I tell you what, I know that the corporate tax rate here in the United States is the highest of any country in the world. The world.
Well, it is now.
And that was before. No, I'm talking about the corporate income tax rate before Obamacare. It was the highest in the world. After Obamacare, it's sitting up there dancing on the top. Okay. So we've got that tax situation that is driving businesses offshore and sending American jobs overseas, because why pay the taxes here if you can get away with not doing it? Okay. I mean, especially when it's not illegal for you to set up a business somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. If Congress had been able to figure out a way to make it illegal, they sure would have. But, if they can do something and lower the corporate tax rate so that businesses aren't paying out huge amounts of their profits in taxes, especially, to me, man, this whole payroll tax concept, the more people you employ, the harder we're going to stick it to you.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
What?
That makes a lot of sense.
If that could happen, the economic engine that this country is could take off. I mean, today I watched, and I shared it on Facebook. Bill Whittle put out a video through PJ Media on 5 conservative principles. And one of the things that he was bringing out in there is that, boy, if you unmuzzle the American industry, we can create wealth. See, this is what divides Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and progressives, is that as conservatives and as, we're not Republicans, but as conservatives, we believe that wealth can be created.
Yeah.
Progressives don't. They think that the pie is always the same side. And if you make $20, then that means that across the country there was somebody you took that $20 away from that needed it. Yeah,
the words free market
they hate
tends
that.
To make progressives a little ill. I tell you one thing that the president has said is going to happen before this current Congress leaves.
I know what you're about to get into.
By Christmas, he will have issued an executive order on immigration. Now, he's being kind of cagey about exactly what that executive order is going to entail, but we all know the word amnesty. And I have a sneaky feeling that he's going to make that to where it's like retroactive. Go back, say, to 2000 or something like that, He's going to make it as difficult as he can for the next Congress to undo. Now, I do see them trying to say, okay, I tell you what, Mr. President, if you'll hold off on issuing this executive order, we will meet you halfway and try to come up with some immigration reform on our own. But I just don't see the president waiting, and no matter what, that's going to be a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been very clear how we feel about this. We don't need immigration reform. We need immigration enforcement. Got into a huge debate last week about the illegal immigration thing. You know, progressives don't even want you to call them illegal. They're just undocumented. They believe that it is necessary to bring in more bureaucracy and that enforcement is only a secondary issue. And the argument was made to me that, well, if you just turn loose the enforcement wing of our immigration system, isn't that going to create more paperwork and going to need more bureaucracy? No, all it's going to do is we may have to bring one more person in to operate the rubber stamp that says deported, but
we can automate that.
It's no secret. This amounts to new voters. This amounts to getting more new Democrats, because the illegals in this country, they know which political party is pushing to get them sent back home, and they know which one is offering them free housing and free medical care, free money, free food, everything that American citizens aren't entitled to. Because I don't get free food. I don't get we don't get to get away without paying property taxes. Regular Americans don't get away without paying rent or a mortgage. We don't get that. Obamacare is not free for us. Where every American, like the president said, every American would have, access to health care. All right, he didn't lie. We've got the access. We just don't have the means to get it. Whereas these illegals that come here, well, they got all the free health care they can stomach, man.
All they have to do is say, no habla inglés.
As a matter of fact, they're letting them come on over here sick. It's been proven that this enterovirus that was sweeping across from one end of this country to the other.
Still sweeping.
Yeah. It has been traced. Guess where it started? Where it started?
Did it come over from the border?
It certainly did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How did that happen, I wonder? Because disease stops at the border. Only people get across.
Right. Well, just like those Democrats are counting on the illegal immigrants to remember which party offered to give them all this stuff. Well, it's already been proven that the rest of America, like the American citizens, well, we remember who brought in all this disease. We are going to remember who brought in 9 million extra mouths to feed that we can't afford. See, we already remembered that, and we remembered it in the voting booth. We remembered what party it was that took all of these. Remember back over the summer when they had like tens of thousands of these people pouring across the border at one time.
Mm-hmm.
We remember what party it was that scooped them all up and secreted them away and hid them all over the United States.
Until they could disperse.
Mm-hmm. So that no one would know where they were or who they were.
And it wasn't the Tea Party that did that.
No, it wasn't the Tea Party. Now, when you bring things like this up, of course, it's coming from racism. That's the only place it could be coming from. Well, the American people remembered that in the voting booth, too. So, the mainstream media can try to spin this election any way they want to. But we as Americans know the truth. Those of us that went into the voting booth this time, we know why we voted the way we voted. And if I was a Democrat that had political aspirations, I believe I would pay close attention